meeting of the City Council will come to order. Pastor Paul, will you give prayer?
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for this day and for this time of gathering to do the business of the city. I ask that you would be with our council members and all who come before the council this evening, that you would guide them and direct them, that you would give them wisdom, and that you would lead them in the path that you would have us to go in this town. All this we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
We have a consent agenda.
Consent agenda to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of August 7th, 2007. Appropriation ordinance 082107 for the amount of $70,918.02, and a request by Patty Risley for a late closing of the South Branch September 15th and October 6th of 2007.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Consent agenda passes. Do we have any citizen comments? I guess we have one listed, so Michael, would you like to come up here and tell us?
I apologize for getting in here late on a big matter like this. My name's Michael Thies. I'm 17 years old. I'm a Life Scout, and I have been currently working on this Eagle project since probably 2 months before school got out last year. Down at Browns Park, there at the entrance at the sign, I have suggested putting in a shrub bed. Mel and Barry have also thought this would be a good idea. I'm assuming all of you have your the costs and all that in front of you. Basically, what I need from you guys is to approve that the project meets your criteria and that the amount listed the city is willing to put up. Northview Nursery has been kind enough to hold the plants required for the project for 2 days free of charge instead of the 20% holding fee for the shrubs. I'm almost 18. The shrubs and the nurseries are almost out. So either the city needs to approve the project tonight, or I have to find a new project. If there's any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask me.
Is this the only park you have available to do this?
In St. John, there's only Brown Park and then the
You
park
go
down.
to Pratt to Cub Scouts?
Yes.
Cornwall Fund could be used for that. And we have sufficient amount.
And this project fits with what Barry has in the park already.
I'm giving them advice.
Does this go from where you get on the walk path on the south?
Not quite. It's the walk path is up here.
It's a ways down there.
Yeah, it's about.
But on
20
the
feet.
south,
On the south.
is that south and
Yeah, that's
north?
yeah south. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a walkway that goes there and starts up, and it's probably 20 feet. Just estimating on how high up it is. I haven't measured up there. The entire area from here up is about 30 feet.
That's why I was wondering what size it was in relation to the one that was there.
Michael, show them what the sign is so they know.
The sign is right here. And then there's the 5 trees behind the sign that are pre-existing there.
And all this work is will be done by you as part of your project?
Yes, I will, I have recruited several guys and friends from my church to come out and help me plant the shrubs and get the plastic and border down and spread the mulch.
And so right now, that's basically dead space.
Yeah, it's just grass.
It's kind of a hard area to get in there with the mowers, and it was just thought that that would be kind of an eye-catching area if you wanted to make an improvement right there as you went by the sign there. There's one reason that location was chosen.
If you guys want me to walk you through the shrubs and what all's going in, I can do that if you want me to.
I assume it's similar to what's there, isn't it?
Can I, yeah, talk? There's some shrubs there we don't have in our parks. Like the new thing now, the knockout rose. It's a red shrub rose. Doesn't get any taller than 3 foot and very little spraying or upkeep. And it's really bright red, you know, beautiful. He's got what? 5 of
Seven.
7 of those in there. He has some spirea we don't have in our parks. He's got boxwood in there.
So is this gonna be raised like the other one? Oh, it'll stay flat.
Yeah, and he's also transplanting some more ornamental grass from our raised beds, kind of getting out of control. So he's going to transplant some of that and move it to here. And he's transplanting a daylilies too.
So you're going to maintain this like
Yes.
we do the other one?
But you need the $1,860, is that what we need?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good deal. You need a motion? I move to allow him the 1670, no, the 1860.
I got a different one.
Out of the Cornwall Fund.
I'll second it. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there other citizens' comments?
I got one.
All right.
Someone's complaining about weeds in the sidewalk from Dillon's.
Okay.
There you go.
The property owner there, you can meet with the shore.
There you go.
Some of it was.
Does the record show, Kevin, what's this on that deal?
There's a lot of jokes there. Are there other citizen comments? Well, then we shall proceed. Administration bill.
As I told you at the last meeting, Greg Wright is here to present information on possible electric rate increase, and he has a little information. He attended the wind energy conference and just has a short, brief summary on that, and what he gathered from that.
Looks like he has a large book.
Well, I'm not going to go overboard. No, I'm just going to let you know that this wind conference that they had July 24th attended is something that is going to be beneficial to the city down the road, and it was attended by several city people.
Sure.
And what it is recently, there's been a lot of people wanting to interconnect some sort of generation with cities, and mostly the big talk has been wind. And there's a lot of things that need to be considered before you go slap wind turbines up in effect. And this basically is your document, and what it has an actual template for a interconnect policy, that if anybody came and said, I want to build a wind farm, or I want to put one turbine in my property, it gives some stipulations and some things that need to do, already developed. We'll need to tweak it a little bit for some of it specific for the city of John. Mel and I will do that and put together for you. So here shortly, we'll go through this and have it back to you. But it's a very complete conference, and we'll it'll be something that I suggest you guys want to pass and have it prepared, so when it comes up, you don't have to scramble around, no one will scramble around and answer the questions you can give. It gives them documents that has all the information that they need to provide to the city before they interconnect with the contract, so you can get everybody's clear. So that'll be coming up over shortly. If you don't have a chance to go through it and do it. But it was a pretty good conference, and I think something that most cities will be pursuing in the near future. What we need to talk about today is, if you recall, I was here not too long ago, and we talked about electric rates, and since then, you guys have had some budget work and what have you, and throughout that process, kind of came to the same conclusion that I've kind of drawn up in this book that went through, that we need to modify our rates a little bit in order to cover the cost of operating the system. Plan on coming back a little bit later in the fall, but we decided to go ahead and present this to you guys now and see what you think. You can decide how you want to proceed from here. But if anybody would have brought their book, you'd have it. But just in case people have heard that, I went ahead and brought that last page, if you remember, that talks about kind of the projections. I'm going to go ahead and pass that over. This is where we were at. Generally, if you recall, we were talking about, went through the different status of the utility system, and you were basically needing on that last bottom down there, we talked about in 2008, we were looking at $150,000 to $195,000 shortfall in order to cover the cost of operating the system, as well as begin to build back up the utility fund reserve. So as I was recommending, we target for these amounts, which would put down the $5,000 to $9,000 a year into the utility fund reserve, which isn't a lot, but we would start to turn the trend the other way. So in order to accomplish that, I'm making a recommendation that you guys consider changing your rates, increase them. It's been a long time since you've changed them. The only modification we made was a few years ago. We incorporated the energy cost adjustment, which allowed us to pass through swings of the wholesale price. I'm also, with the recommendation of increasing the base rate, recommend that you change the way you apply the fuel charge adjustment to a rolling 12-month average. Right now, you just basically month to month, you look at what your wholesale purchase cost and your generation operating cost is, and you subtract out a base, and the difference you apply on a per kilowatt hour charge in a month. And sometimes in the summer that number gets bigger, in the winter it's smaller. Proposing that you do a rolling 12-month average, a lot of cities have moved to that. What that does is it flattens it out. It doesn't create any additional revenue for the city. It just means you don't have the higher number. During the times most citizens are using more, it's also the time you're having the highest price per kilowatt hour. So this way it flattens it out, so it spreads it out. So those combination of those two recommendations. I'll go ahead and want to do this. I want to hand out a sheet here that kind of shows you the amount of sales that the city's had, or the purchases and what you sold to customers. And then what I'm recommending we do is, currently, as I explained last time, you have a customer charge, a $5 for residential and $8 for commercial. And you have a flat 8.9 cents a kilowatt hour charge for all kilowatt hours, residential or commercial. In order to generate the additional $160,000, I'm proposing to go to a two-step rate. A lot of cities have a two-step rate. You guys haven't, not all do. It's not not critical that you do, but I want to explain a little bit why I'm suggesting that. I'm suggesting you have the first 100 kilowatt hours a month that stays flat and doesn't change the price. Leave that at 8.9 cents a kilowatt hour. Everything above that, we move from 8.99 to 10.55. That's a 1.65 cents per kilowatt hour increase for all kilowatt hours above the 100. So what that creates is a situation where a low user, somebody who doesn't use much, a minimal amount, really won't see much of a change. It's a smaller percentage. Conversely, the higher user would see more of the, we'd be using more kilowatt hours above the 100, so we see a larger increase. I have a sheet. I just want to walk through what I handed out here. Shows you kind of your annual kilowatt hours, the amount that you purchased, what you bill to the customers, and then I backed out the 100 as what I call a base block, and then basically that spreads out the remaining kilowatt hours to get the 160,000. So this keeps it simpler. We're not going to change the customer charge. We're also not changing the commercial residential at this time. You guys have, like I said, you haven't changed your rates for many years. You do have a wholesale contract change scheduled to occur in 2010. So you've got 2 to 3 years that this would bridge you to. And at that point, we may need to do something different. We may need to develop a rate structure that more closely matches your wholesale rate. But since you're not doing any changes right now, this would accomplish that. And essentially, where I came up with those numbers. I'm going to hand out the recommendation for you guys to do. I'll give you stuff and we can discuss it and some questions. This basically talks about the two recommendations I just outlined there. Essentially summarizes the block, the increase from 8.9 to 10.55. The rate ordinance, or the fuel adjustment ordinance right here is language that goes along with it. That this basically just changes the way we apply the fuel adjustment. This is taking fuel adjustment ordinance and rewrites the language to capture 12-month rolling average.
So you base it on the previous 12 months.
The previous 12 months, and you drop off 1 month every month. And then you have another 12 months, and then you got to come up with a base. And again, what that basically does, that doesn't change any way you do it now, except for it just flattens out the spikes and the dips. Now, one more piece of paper I'm going to hand you, and this way we can walk through this one. This I took 2 scenarios of customers, what it will look like, both the fuel adjustment and the rate change. Everybody's got this. I walked through. If you look over here on the right in the box to the far right, it has ECA calculations. What I did is I took some average price of cost per kilowatt hour. That's your average price for a calendar year. Down the left side, normally you would have subtracted 3.1 cents. That's your base. I'm proposing we keep that base there at this time. then you would subtract it, and you'll see you have in January, you might have a 1.3 cents a kilowatt hour adder with ETA, but as high as 2.18, 2.19 in the summer months, back down to 1.1 in the winter. That's what you're doing currently. The right would be a simulating of 12-month rolling average. I took the average of the 12 months, but it would actually drop off. But basically, you have a flat kilowatt hour. Both those two right columns in that ECA calculation will generate the same amount of revenue for the city in the form of fuel adjustment. Again, that doesn't change anything. But if you go back in here, look at the top block, customer A, it says low usage. This would be 150 kilowatt hours a month, January through May, and then I put 300 in the summer, June through September, and then back down to 150 just to show you how this would apply. The next, if you look at the next line, it's $5 a month customer charge. The energy charge currently is 8.9 cents per kilowatt hour, so there's your cost for your energy, your ECA, which is basically this third column in that ECA calculations times a kilowatt hour, gives your total bill. And then that far right column, I took the total bill divided by the kilowatt hours. So that's kind of what an average price would be. If you go down to your total bill for the year, would be $311 at 12.99 cents a kilowatt hour. Under the new rate, the next group over, basically you have the $5 customer charge. The first 100, which in this particular case, they'd always have 100 every month. If for some reason they use less than 100, you only bill them for 8.9 times 90 kilowatt hour or whatever. So they have 100 every month, and then all additional would be at the new rate of 10.55. The ECA, as you can see, flattened out a little bit, didn't move around quite as much. But really the only movement is due to the increased usage. It's the same amount per kilowatt hour. It generated, then the total cost would be $330, which is basically a $19, almost a little less than $20 for a year increase on this proposed structure, which is 6% of the total bill. Then the bottom, customer B, they have a higher usage. I took 400 kilowatt hours a month through May, and then 900 in the summer and 400 in the winter. To show you, same scenario, generates a $773 a year charge. Under the new rate, that same customer would pay $863, which is a little $90 a year increase, which is a 12% increase on that particular customer. So the reason it's a higher percentage is because you're using more of the kilowatt hours in the higher block, the new higher block.
So if you apply those new rates on what we currently have, what do you end up with?
If you will.
If you apply these to what we currently bill out, how much more revenue would you?
This would generate an additional $160,000 based on current usage levels.
What's the average use for our residential customers in commercial?
You know, I don't have that specific as far as average, but it'd be similar to similar to higher usage customer right here, residential. I mean, certainly there's bigger homes and things, but there's, other home use 16,700 kilowatt hours in the summer. Smaller home use around 1,000 in the summer. The smaller these would be apartment, maybe assisted living type arrangements. The main reason you did with that base block not changing, it allows somebody like on a fixed income or something who truly isn't using excessive amount to not have much of an increase, if any at all. Do a customer charge change, you kind of take the control of the customer away from that, because if they have a customer charge increase, which isn't all wrong, your customer charge isn't excessively high, so you could move that, but the thing is whether you use any or not, you're going to incur the increase. Here, if somebody's really not using much, then they're not going to to see any, if at all increase. If they, if they're fixed income is still using, excessive amount of energy and not trying, not efficiency, and using a lot of electric appliances, they'll be in the higher usage. That's what we're doing.
Well, I like the idea of the rolling. I like that.
Yes,
I-
move it out.
I'm all for encouraging people to conserve energy, but it concerns me just a little bit about some of our highest usage comes from like the school and, places that I'm not sure. I don't know. Is it not, I mean, some of those electric rates that you got me copies of, I mean, a lot of times the more you use, the lower the rate.
So, yeah. So you can look at it a couple of ways, if you, certainly some people are saying that's economic incentive or things like that to use more kilowatt hours. And that's a possibility. The other thing, sometimes people will say that it also encourages waste. So you said, okay, if I'm up to this point, then really it costs me much, so there's no reason to conserve energy. The way the city's structured, it's a little bit, if we talked a little bit about it last time, you have this negotiated contract that basically encompasses 2,250 kW that you have built in, and it's a fixed price. And then anything above that, you're subject to price range, like for instance today, you're paying $97, 9.7 cents a kilowatt hour for anything above that level. So today, during the day, as of right now, anybody using power is actually, the city's buying it for 9.7, it's selling for 8.9. So, the incremental price has kind of flip-flopped over the years. So that piece is the one that's really gotten expensive, is that last kilowatt hour we're buying in. Under the new contract, it may be a little different. It may be a lot of the ones that we're seeing right now, people that are entering into them today are starting to be more balanced out where there may be a higher demand charge and the energy is lower, so that it does say, okay, once you incur that high demand premium, then using the kilowatt hours is more bad. The way our contracts are structured, it doesn't, it's kind of flip-flops on that. The last kilowatt hours are more expensive, so I think to do a straight rate like that would be counterproductive, but counterproductive with the wholesale supply. Now, unless it's something you want to do an economic development incentive for a new customer or something like that, you can always structure a special type of arrangement if need be. And it's a type of load that would be buying kilowatt hours during those low-peak times, evening, and things like that. But if they're just going to buy across the peak, you won't want to do it because they're expensive.
One thing we were talking about before the meeting, like the city hasn't changed the rates in about 20 years. The way the electric industry is anymore, that probably won't be seen again. I mean, we've got a new contract, the new contract will come up in 2011, and we may be revisiting this again when we get in this new contract. But to say that, this is going to hold fast for a long time, those days are probably, we're not going to see that again.
That could go up or down. Yeah, we have the ECA allows for that to happen automatically. Those prices today are, pretty much, we've had some spikes at times, but generally day in and day out, they're as high as we've seen. The ECA allows us to recover that. But also, if it does change and it were to drop, then it would go back in the form of a credit or a pass back. So you kind of have that addressed in that kind of arrangement. So, but in 2 or 3 years, or 3 or 4 years, probably need to revisit the structure that more matches your wholesale supply. So it's the same. This would allow you to cover the cost that you're facing right now.
It looks to me like the only gift the city has is this transfers line. I mean, if we choose not to transfer, I mean, this can come from somewhere else. Either that or you have to cut it.
And
I
what I
think this really is meaningless. Sounds like a lot of money.
It's getting a little bit, it's getting a little bit, it's not going to make a full transfer. You know, if the other thing would be is if we did this, and you still wanted to, the utility fund, if you someday, didn't want to transfer, you wanted to have that choice, you could go ahead and fund it, or if you wanted to, but you're right. It's the same, I didn't go in there and say whether or not everything was, so for those numbers that we came into, that's what we need to have.
I believe something to consider is, if you're gonna raise a rate, you should just raise your residential. That hits everybody, whether they're a taxpayer or not, whether they own property. You hit the school and courthouse, they're big users, that's gonna come back to the taxpayer. That's gonna come back to everybody.
What did Stafford research do?
They haven't changed it.
Oh, I thought it was in the paper.
Yeah, they did.
I read the paper.
What is it?
Moved it. I think they got it about half a cent.
And they moved it up over a year and a quarter.
We have a point of order, it's a legal requirement that if the mayor is in the room, that she's here. So,
You lose your chair.
you can stay there.
No.
Finish, Jim.
Yeah, we have my next year, we're gonna have this year.
John, how many current commercial accounts do we have now?
He has it on here.
I question that. You mean it stayed the same since January of '05 until December '07?
Well, I would have to go look and see exactly.
Is that-
I'm
is
sure
that
it
close,
has
or-
changed.
Yeah,
That's
that is,
We don't fluctuate on that one very much.
What about residential? Yeah.
your number, the actual number was, that it was 169, 164, 167, 163, 165, 165, and the commercial was 723, 727, 716, 717, 720, 720. It fluctuates, but
Well, just
And what we did was use the 720 flat out, so that's what we're going to go with.
I'm not opposed to raising the rate. Like I said, raise it across the board, and the school board's gonna raise the mill levy, pay it like it's gonna. So it amounts to.
But your own businesses, I suppose they'll just increase their costs.
Right, yeah, if you didn't
Maybe
raise
go
the,
out at the restaurant, but
yeah, it'd be a good place to not raise this year commercial.
The only thing, that's a good point, because certainly on those kind of commercial, public service type stuff, but and I don't know what efforts the school does, but everybody has an opportunity to manage your costs and work on energy efficiency. I don't know whether the school does or not, but some schools are fairly aggressive with their energy conservation. This does give them a chance they do have a chance to maybe, I assume their classrooms are air conditioned, probably not gymnasiums.
Right.
They have an opportunity to maybe shut those down after school versus keep it. So there would be some things that they could do. Generally, they've tried not to not do the commercial, when I'm thinking of general commercial, but you could exclude certain services, but what you find is certainly a lot of people draw on the line and say, well, what kind of school, kind of a, what I do, but it's up to
You
you.
could go online, anything tax supported.
Yeah, that's true.
The courthouse and the
Now,
school.
and keep in mind what that would, then we would probably have to then take back those kilowatt hours out and raise that amount a little bit more on residential. That's the only thing. It's almost moving from one to the other. It's the only thing about that is you would, I was going to say, if we need that balance across these kilowatt hours right here, if we back some of them out, then we're just gonna have to increase the amount.
You raise-
Same thing with that 100 kilowatt hour block. What we did there was basically gave the residential a break. That just meant, a little bit more on the other above 100. Catch you up on this. We were, what I was proposing, did you get a packet there?
Yes.
Proposing, the recommendation was, in order to generate the $160,000 additional fund that was, I gave you a copy that was in the book. Now, oh, you got it?
Yeah.
All right, I hand out a page, the last page here, shows you where we kind of targeted the 160,000. Recommendation is to change the energy clause adjustment to a rolling 12-month average, so it'll flatten it out. And that's illustrated on this one chart, one chart that had the two customers over here to the right.
Okay.
We won't have the price swings. Change it, I attached an ordinance, a draft sample language that Don could draft into an ordinance. Leave the first 100 kilowatt hours for residential alone, first 100 a month, and then everything above that would be raised from 8.9 to 10.55. That allows a low user, or maybe a low income low user, to not have, could have zero impact if they kept their usage below 100. If it went above 100, it would be minimum impact. And I showed that in this example in this first chart, showing low usage at 150 kilowatt hours, 300 in the summer. Their bill would go from $311 to $330, less than $20 increase a year. A higher user would go from $733 to $863, so it'd be about almost $100 a year, or 12%. The ECA calculation just means you don't have quite as much swing between the summer and winter. The only swing occurs based on the amount of usage, the increased usage. So that's what I'm recommending here. That also, Mel had made a comment that it's been a decade or more, or two decades since you actually changed rates. Probably don't really want to plan that it'd be that much longer before there'd be an additional change, because you have a new contract that you can take in 2011 that can dramatically change the way you take power down. Commissioner Thrasher made a comment about the higher end usage. The way your contract structured right now, your higher end usage is a higher price to kilowatt hours. So that's why the way it's structured now sends an appropriate price signal at this time.
Is that gonna make the billing pretty difficult for John? No.
No, I think we can, I know that there's cities that have much more complicated
Yeah.
rate structures, and there's
Basically-
software that takes care of that. So,
Basically put the figures in.
well, no, we'll probably have to have our software company do some tweaking, but they can. It's
And
not,
on the fuel adjustment, there's one additional step to what you do now. I believe I set that spreadsheet
Yeah.
the first time. And what I'll do is we'll just set it up in the 12-month. You just drop the previous month and add the new one. Did it calculate that? You take that number, enter it into current structure. The one thing you have to do is put that extra kilowatt hour block.
One good thing about having the usage be what people get charged for is that places like the school and the courthouse service people that aren't in the city. And so if they have to pay for their electricity, that's reasonable, because why should the city, subsidize the funding or the school more than people who aren't in the city? So that's one.
Good point.
The other thing I like about it is that probably a good thing for everybody to do now.
It does. And then others, and you know that if, chances are if you've got an air conditioner and fixed TV and all electric appliances, if you know you're in that block and you're making a conscious decision to utilize it, I mean, you make that, you have the opportunity to choose.
Plus their equipment and things like computers, I know, but even things like refrigerators, they keep making the design of those so that if you get a new appliance, generally it uses less electricity to do the same thing as an old one.
That's correct.
And that would encourage the big commercial users to have more efficient equipment, which they could probably get. I think that would-
It does. You do have we looked pretty carefully, previously at the load changes in the city. The city's been pretty stable one way or the other, so I think you find a little combination of what you're saying happens, you get more efficient equipment, but we tend to be more electrified society, so while we're being more efficient, we've got more things plugged in, charging up and making sound. That tends to be, we save and then we use more, because it's really showing that you guys, this community in general, is staying pretty flat, which would indicate there is some conservation as well as increased usage. But certainly puts it also.
John, were these actual true rates that you gave me, like breakdown?
That's,
I mean, that
I'm
is
off the
what they're-
website, the Great Bend went off the website.
That
And
is actually what they're paying.
And they don't have their own power plant, they just buy everything.
What is
You know, eventually, you're gonna get to the point, I mean, businesses looking to come to your town, people start looking at things like that. This was just Great Bend, Maxwell, the other one was Larner, it was the one that decreased the other.
It's
As
got
you got
several
more, it had several
different.
steps.
And I talked to Pam about their software. They used to be on CIC and they had the same rate structure, so she was sure that anything that we came up with.
That's what ours is.
Ours is
Is that
CIC.
same?
Now, they're on something different now, but she said when they had that implemented before, that they were on CIC still.
Like I said, there were 1, 2, 4 others.
You have to be a little careful on some of that. Just for instance, if somebody would call you today, you would say your rate is what, 8.9, when actually it's 13.5, average of 12.99. That doesn't have an ECA, I'm sure it has some sort of
Right.
energy cost adjustment, could be 2, 3, 4 cents kilowatt hour. So you gotta be a little careful. I'm not sure Great Bend electric. I'm not sure. I thought Great Bend was sort of
Well, it used to be a growth.
like well, yeah. And they would have a fairly big fuel adjustment on top of that. So there's no fuel adjustment. That's just their base rate. They have fuel adjustment, so you just have to be careful what you're looking at there.
Well, if you take our transfer out,
Absolutely.
compared to these people, I mean, you can lower it quite a bit if you take your transfer
Oh, no
out.
question.
You need to look at what their water rates are and what their sewer rates are. I mean, this transfer is what makes up for everything else that we
You're
do.
right.
I mean, you're not really comparing.
That's not.
You take a city like Maxville that relies solely on Midwest to supply them, they could be out of electricity for 2 weeks.
Well, they don't.
I mean, you
said
said-
transfer the funds. They have to do that.
Yeah, they just pass it on.
Yeah, it's not apple to it's a great point. And that Midwest Energy down there, we know for a fact that they have a customer charge, a fuel adjustment charge. And it runs substantial, it's 3 cents, whatever, it changes quite a bit.
But ours, I mean, we're talking the same here, I mean, we're not including that.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying, the difference between, you
So,
know,
I
you
mean,
can
you're
say
really-
8.9
Yeah,
to 12.99.
So-
but,
you gotta add it both ways. I guess I was thinking originally that maybe we were gonna have some options, but are you just saying that after looking at it, that this is the ideal, or this is what you consider to be the best, rather than looking at maybe some other alternatives?
Yeah, we can do that. What I was gonna do was make a recommendation. I looked at several different options, moving the customer charge. What I was originally gonna kind of wanted to do, but after going into it a little bit, there's a couple things we wanted to do, was to have some sort of base, either staying flat or even go down possibly. Staying flat was, I looked at 100 versus 200 kilowatt hours. You know, again, that just means if you take 200 kilowatt hours, it just means the number needs to be up to a higher range. So, I guess versus bringing a whole bunch of different laundry lists where we could, you know, everybody would pick their favorite, I thought I'd make a recommendation. If you don't like it, or you want to change something, we can move it. It put a different number, and it's all set up so I can make the changes. I just thought we would do this. If this doesn't hit where we need to be, then we can, you know, we can give you the directions of what other options together. I mean, if I don't give something to talk about for that.
The way it stands right now, there's no difference between commercial rate and residential.
There isn't today, and there was going to be going forward, except for the 100 block. Customer charge too. Customer charge today is $8 for commercial and $5 for residential.
And all the nonprofit organizations are considered commercials.
I believe so.
They got the same.
What defines it, and you guys are correct me, I'm not sure exactly what I'm saying, John, but normally if it's a bed, if it's a non-self bedroom, place primary residence, sleeping bed, kitchen type thing, defines it as residential. A hotel would certainly be commercial.
Pardon me? Real properties? No.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
the person who lives there is the resident.
Yeah,
It
no,
should
if
be.
it's a rental home.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a business rental property, then no.
It has to come from somewhere.
Well, it all boils down to whether you want to raise the rates or cut back somewhere else. I mean, you've got to cover your expenses. I mean, we can
Cut back employees,
sure, we can do whatever.
no, we already have.
Well, when we discussed the budget, you guys pretty much said you were going to raise the rates, or we were going to have to increase the revenue to handle the budget. So if you're going to do something different, I need to know today, because this is certified tomorrow, and we'll have to go through the hearing process again.
Now, again, we can still change the format if you don't like the style, but, you know, you still, our intent would be to generate additional revenue. Multiple ways you can do it. I just, like I said, that was, like the spread of some other way we can do that.
So what you're saying basically is if we want to make whether a reduction or a benefit to the courthouse, county shop, school, whatever we save them, to make this amount that we're shooting for, we're going to have to pick it up. Only other place would be in residential.
Right, and we can do it for customer service, whatever you want to. I mean, I'd like to say, if you want that.
We charge a franchise fee or maintain.
That's, you can do that. You subsidies do that.
Now, I think if you're gonna go up on the raise, I don't see any other way to do it. It's gonna have to be straight across the board.
Franchise agreement here.
Yeah, I think it should be straight across the board, but if you want to do some kind of rate structure, that's a different thing, but it needs to be the same.
Well, I mean, that 100, the 100 is
Well,
a little bit of a different.
yeah, I mean, unless you want to go with the more you use, the less it's cost or something like that. I mean, the others are going to have to make it up no matter what. I mean,
Figure at the end.
Yeah, the 100 kilowatt hour basically just allows you to somebody who's out there using the bare minimum, not really impacting a lot. That's all that does. If we take that
I think
away,
there are a few though, there are
if
some.
we take that away,
There's not very many.
it changes it just, changes it to, I think it's 10 point.
Well, it helps all the residential because they get the first 100.
All residential is first 100, everybody gets first 100, so.
it's not like it used to be. When I first came on the council, I mean, there was a big spread for our cost of electricity. Our cost of electricity's gone up $200,000
Oh, yeah.
a year, you know, and I mean, somewhere, it's gonna have to come from somewhere. You know?
And all your costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've absorbed that all these years, and, you know, everything's kind of used up, you can't keep doing
The
that.
fund, the fund is depleted.
Do you need action on this tonight, or can they think it over? And I think as long as you have as long as you take some action before the end of the year, you're okay, aren't you? Or you got at least a couple of, maybe,
Yeah,
time to think about it. I mean, you can certify a budget that you got with the
right.
understanding that.
No, I'm okay on the budget as long as you're agreeing not to try to cut your expenses in order to not raise it too much, because we did the budget with that decision made earlier, so.
Yeah, the only thing.
We don't have to have a resolution or an ordinance changing it until later in the year.
Well, the only thing is if, which is what we originally were planning on doing, coming in later in the fall, you know, September, October timeframe, in order to have it in place by January, was the original plan. The need is here to do something. We can get a little more creative, a little bit more effective. The bottom line is this is the kind of numbers we need to come from. So if we, if action tonight wouldn't be all bad if you guys, if you feel comfortable with it. If not, then some direction, some other options we want to look at, or if you want to, just defer it first, to later is fine. Or you could approve it tonight to start later down the road. It's not urgent, it won't start tonight. But I will tell you, I would, it's not a bad idea to start in the fall because the usage is down low. I mean, I wouldn't suggest we approve it tonight to start tomorrow because you still got, your August bills are coming in and stuff. But somewhere in September, October, would not be a bad time to start. In fact, it's not very good to start. It's just an increase in June.
Looks to me like we probably ought to think about it pretty quick, because looking from 2006 to 2007, 99,000 down.
Yeah.
I mean, this is 2007, here it is, what, August?
Yeah.
Where are we gonna get the money?
Well, actually, if you're 99,000 down, you're actually only about 45,000 down because your transfer increased 45,000. So, I mean, you're still down.
Yeah, or if you made the decision to transfer, but
Yeah.
Like I said, it wouldn't be bad. I think we all understand there needs to be something that, so I'm not sure delaying that changes anything, probably some point fairly soon, probably want to hurt you in some place.
How long does it take your software person to make a change?
I think if a decision was made tonight, we could probably have it implemented by the October billing,
That would be coming out on October 1st.
yeah.
If you waited till the first meeting in September, then probably couldn't implement it.
I just have to call them and see how soon they can get on it, as far as if that's enough time, and what we would have to do. I don't know how much we would have to do on our own.
But
custom things.
what sort of improvement to this does really happen? I couldn't think of anything. I mean, it was fair, and it meets the amount of money, and it seems to spread it out pretty evenly.
The only thing that you could do, I would think that would impact small users would be either raise your
Yeah.
100-watt rate to 150, but I don't know that that's gonna make that much difference. I mean, you're talking about pennies.
Nah, well, it does make a difference. I walk between 100 and 200, and, 150 would probably put a couple people in a range where they'd have no impact.
I guess that was the thing I was looking at, was raising that 100 and then possibly even looking at the flat rate. Actually, that is one of the areas that I think we're lower in.
The customer charge?
Yeah, the customer charge. I think that's one of the areas we're lower in than a lot of cities.
You're kind of, yeah, you're probably on the lower end of that now.
The only thing about that is that if you raise that customer rate, that affects everyone, where someone at the lower end, they have kind of a power of their own destiny as far as how much electricity. If you hit them with a higher customer, charge deal, then that gets them whether they want to or not. So,
Yeah, but you're only
Yeah,
talking
that's-
about $12 a year. If you raise it $1, $12 a year.
right.
That's about 10 grand, $2,000 a year.
By raising that $1,
Yeah,
yeah, and that's what the revenue would be?
somewhere.
Yeah.
I would think.
760 times 12.
Well, it's 165 and 720.
You see it's 5.8 though, you were talking about raising the dollar.
Well, that's what I was
Yeah.
Customer and commercial, yeah. So
That's what I was saying.
yeah, I would say you can move them all.
I'd be able to put it on a high rate, because that encourages people not to use it. The customer charge, that doesn't make any difference whether they turn their light off.
Well, I will tell you, the customer charge does have a significance, and the reason being is that you do have some customers out there that probably that do not use any. And the cost to go out and read that meter and propose a bill, and send them a, stamp or send a, invoice, has gone up. So if you did have somebody use zero out there, and you probably have a few that have very low, you do capture it. So that's why you have a customer charge, because you do have some base fixed cost to just have a meter there. But yeah, moving that customer charge, certainly $69 doesn't move you out of line at all. The 150 base,
Again, everybody can get 150 minutes.
yeah. Well, in order to,
Did you raise the rate at the other end and they got?
Well, that's what you're going to have to do.
right,
Well.
you're saying capture,
the customer.
you're saying capture with the customer charge instead. Kind of the same thing. I thought maybe you were talking about customer charge to maybe increase the revenue. Yeah. Because I think what you're doing there is you're kind of taking from one and putting it right back. You're giving them a break with an additional 50 kilowatt hours. You're gonna take it right back. Take some of it back, not all of it, but you take some of it back. Do both.
That's fine.
Well, raise the
Raise the
150.
rate and the service charge.
Raise the 150. Increase
Well,
that additional.
I don't care about that. I mean, if you raise it to 150, you're gonna have to raise this 10.55.
10.65.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Right. And then just raise the customer charge in addition.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, Tom, you're thinking leave
I-
the
I
100 and raise the
I'd rather
customer
leave
charge?
it. It really doesn't matter.
I know it comes from somewhere.
The only thing you're gonna affect is someone that uses between 150 and 200 kilowatts, and that 50 kilowatts isn't gonna make,
It's, you know, it's half the difference of these two right here. We got $8.9 and $5.24, $13, $14 versus $13.35, so it's $5 a month or so.
I just shouldn't leave it at 100 kilowatts myself. And I wouldn't be afraid of raising the service charge, customer charge at all.
It's gonna get you about 800.
10,000 a year, something like that. Something like
You got about 900 accounts running the school, I think 10,000 right there.
Is that a proposal?
that. I'm just talking.
That would put you over the 160.
I guess what you can give him is direction in principle, but you're gonna have to do an ordinance to change it, so. I mean, you really can't do it until next time.
No, but we can tell you what the.
You can tell him what to put in it, yeah.
In the ordinance.
In the ordinance really next time.
Yeah.
If we have direction, then she can call the software people in the meantime, and they can do, get ready based upon what we're gonna pass. in the ordinance.
Same thing with the energy cost adjustment, we replaced that ordinance 4435.
I'd like to move that we plan to have that with your customer charge and the rates that he has in this thing. That we have an ordinance written up for that.
Second.
Any more discussion? That's gonna basically generate, is it just $10,000 more than what he's projected here?
Yeah.
Norm, is this feasible enough? Are we gonna have to do this again a year from
Maybe 5 years from now.
Three. Yeah,
It depends on what your contract is with Midwest.
Right. Or who?
Or whoever it is.
now? Yeah, we're pretty sure it's gonna go up.
We're not positive,
Okay, now,
but probably not gonna go down a lot.
no. Sure.
But you know, I don't think, but the point is, I don't think we should look to say we want something that's built for maybe 10 years or so. 3 years is a reasonable time to go without having raising. Especially with this ECA, it keeps us from having to swing every year, but to build something for 11 a year, especially when we know we've only got 3 years left on the contract, or 2.5 years left on the contract. Getting something to build in that covers to that point is not unreasonable.
It's either that or we're gonna have to seriously consider cutting elsewhere.
Well, I was wondering if this was enough. It'd be better to do it at one time deal. When we come back here in 3 years, have to do it again. Get our reserves built back up.
Of course, if we start this year, we hadn't planned on doing this. So we have a head start into next year.
That's a good point.
And so that would probably take us through next year without us getting in any trouble, and probably the next year too. But that's why we have meetings every 2 weeks, is to
Well, yeah.
deal with things like this and change.
But what I'm saying is 3 years is our reserve going to be down to nothing.
I think we're building at the point, as I put in here, $5,000 to $10,000. Now you add another 10, so it's really 15 to 20,000 a year, which isn't bad. think it will have the huge fund. Everybody drew down pretty hard. You guys got that fuel adjustment in just in time. Kept you from drawing, really drawing out of that thing earlier. We were really not in good shape then, but, I think the fact that you haven't changed your rates, that's a good thing, but it's also a little bit of, it's gonna be a little shock factor.
It means you've had good managers in
Well,
front of us.
You really have.
Yep.
You haven't had to change it.
They didn't cut, they didn't keep
Well,
adding.
20 years ago,
They managed
20
it.
years ago.
20 years ago, when your electric rate was 8.9,
Let me tell you.
I mean, that was probably pretty high. I mean, that's high.
Well, and we didn't have the fuel adjustment in there. See, the thing with that was because the time was, and Mel was, we talked about the reason we didn't apply it was because it never made any money because your wholesale purchase price was 3.1. And you guys had applied it for a while, and it was like, $100 a year or something, so just put apply. And that was, as you can see, there's no 3.1 cents a kilowatt hour anymore. So every, we're back a few years ago, it was way down below that, so your cost was a lot lower. But you guys have that, well, other cities have moved it in, have moved it maybe a half a cent or a quarter of a cent every couple of years, and then gradually creeps it up where you guys haven't.
We're gonna look like the poor manager in front of
No, because everybody's in the process of doing it, so even those that have been gradually moving up are moving up.
We're taking time to the action.
It's time.
Do the right thing.
It's time, yeah, to move the rate. If you went in the phase, I'm gonna raise it a third of it a year. And just delaying and then a little bit.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you very much.
Put the language ordinance, non-language, you gotta get it back and approve it, and we'll change those.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Is there a question from last evening? That's fine. Administration comments?
Yeah, if you see, I have skate rink manager applications on the table. The former rink manager, things have changed back again, and she would be able to go ahead and run the rink as she did before. However, since she put in a resignation, I felt like it was important that she reapply and be considered with the other application.
us. There was other applicants?
Yeah,
You
it is.
should have. Oh, shit, type deal.
The only other one besides Vicky is Sandy Stutter.
Sandra needs to run it.
And we have, yes, right after that.
Are you hiring somebody? Probably, you're talking about applications, you probably ought to review them in executive session. Just talking around, I would suggest. I would hate anything to be said that might be derogatory, that might cause some actions.
Somebody needs to make a motion for executive session.
If you want to executive session.
I mean, if you're just gonna hire somebody, if you got one person you're gonna hire, that's fine. But I mean, if you're going to compare one as to another, then
Right.
I think you ought to be in executive session because you are discussing personnel matters.
I moved to hire Vicky Rios, Sandra Tucker.
Say that again, please.
I moved to hire Sandra Tucker.
And
Sandra.
Sandra.
All those in favor say aye.
Yeah, so-
did you
Do
do
we
a
have a
second?
second?
Did he make a motion?
I don't think there's a second.
I'll second it, so we can discuss that.
Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.
No.
that's all I have.
Is there any questions for John this evening?
One of those things that's hard to have a discussion about if you can't.
I would like to bring the next council meeting a update on everybody's salary and where they're at in pay, and maybe even include Dawn. Is there any other personnel? Judge, yep, throw judge in there. If you don't want it.
I can just include that in your packet next time around. Is that all right?
Yep.
I didn't grab my personnel or policy handbook or whatever, but do we see that in the paper about the cell phone policy for the county? Do we have one?
I don't
Cell
believe so.
phone
It's not,
usage.
we have an internet policy, but we don't have a cell phone usage.
So there's no restriction on them using their city
Phone,
phones for personal.
no. And anything that's not used for, say, if there's text messaging or something, they pay for that. You know, it's,
Who monitors that?
yeah, Vicki and I both. I used to doing accounts payable.
Why would we allow them to do it?
They have to carry the
Because we
phone,
don't have a
so.
policy?
Well, I mean, would you want them to carry two phones? I guess if they have to carry a personal phone.
I'm not sure why they would be text messaging while we're paying them.
No,
No, she's just using an
When-
example.
They could be text messaging when they're on call, you know, and say they're on standby or on call, and they're out in their own yard doing whatever, and, or, I don't know, just about, it hasn't been an issue, if they're using, like, we don't have text messaging, and so we just charge the employee if he does use it, or she does use, well, none of the women have city phones. And on the other side of that, several of us use our personal phones to call city cell phones so that there isn't long distance on our city bill to call the city cell phones, you know, back and forth. So it kind of weighs out, I would think, but
How many cell phones do you city have?
see, on your department, you have 4. Sunny, you have 4 in your department, right? So there's 8 total. We went to cell phones instead of pagers.
Why, I guess I'm asking, I guess that's for on call,
Yes,
when you're on call.
yes.
Do you have 8 people on call at one time?
No, heavens no.
Then why can't you pass the phone around whoever's on call?
Well, the public works, we've got one, I carry a phone myself, more so I can be contacted anytime regardless of where I'm at. We have a public works for the guys that are on the phone that are in the, like water, sewer, street, they carry that on when they're on call on the weekend, so the sheriff's office can get a hold of them, or if I get a call, I can call them. We've got some guys that have their own cell phones, and we just call them back and forth if, you know, if we need them or whatever, and they just have their own cell phones, so. In the electric department, mainly it's because we're limited personnel, you know, I can get a hold of them. Nick has his own phone. Mark Green and Mark Tompkins have city phones. That way I can, if I have a problem, it's better to get a hold of them that way. If they don't have anything, and they're away from the phone and no way to contact them, it's kind of limits our resources as far as personnel being able to get a hold of them. So, just the way it works out good as far as being able to get a hold of people.
Do you find that you use a lot of extra minutes other than what you would get anyway?
I haven't ever seen us go over minutes.
I never go over on my own,
I think they're pretty responsible.
Like I said, the only extra charges that I've ever seen on a cell phone bill was for text messaging, and that an employee pays that on his own.
Don't you, I mean, I don't have it, so, do you not have to pay something on the base plan that even able to text message?
No.
Not anymore.
Yeah, and we're not paying for so much unlimited, it's just if he uses text messaging, he pays for those.
I guess I just have a problem with them using it for personal reasons, period. I mean, I don't understand why we would allow them to do that when they can have their own cell phone to do that.
I guess that
I just
you wanted
really-
to carry 2 cell phones in.
Well, again,
Yeah.
I guess it depends on when they're doing that, whether it's while they're on the job or.
Is there a problem, or is someone abusing the problem?
No, I'm just saying, I saw where the county, and most businesses, I'm gonna be real honest with you, have a cell phone usage policy. I look at, the one bill that I just looked at is the police department, and I haven't looked at it in the last couple of months, but, you know, I think there are times that I question some of the calls, where we were calling and the number of times we were calling when it was like out of state. But I don't know, maybe they have a reason to be doing that, I don't know.
Why don't we bring the Altel bill in?
Well, you get it every
Yeah,
month.
it's
sign it.
there, you sign your,
But I mean, I occasionally look at it.
$140 or $200 maybe?
like I say, I think they're all responsible, they don't.
I think we're wasting our time talking about it, but
Yeah, I think we're.
Okay. All right. Is there any more for John this evening? Thanks, John. Police Department, Sunny. Is there any questions for Sunny this evening? Thank you, Sunny. Legal, John?
Okay, I got 2 things. You guys wanted to sell that land to Danny Smith. I assumed the price was $6,000. I've got a municipal quitclaim deed ready with the legal description from the surveyors. Probably need a motion to authorize the sale of the property along with the authority for the mayor to sign the deed on behalf of the city. If you want authority to keep that sale.
so were there any stipulations included in that or not?
Well, there's an easement reserved for where the poles are. Other than that, it's just a straight.
There's no time.
There's no stipulation about.
I did not put, I mean, I didn't make a contract or anything. This is just straight for deed, so if you want to restrict anything, then we need to go back and we'll have to negotiate the terms and conditions. I thought they were putting the house in there.
That's the plan.
I
Are you
didn't know
concerned
that.
about if they, similar to what on the Lions property, if something didn't happen, is that?
I guess you could do, either authorize the mayor subject to some evidence of the house, or we can have him sign a contract like we did the Lions if you want. I mean, I can bring one to you next time, but it is ready to go. Table it tonight, it's fine.
You have a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed a second. All those in favor say aye.
Discussion.
Okay, Tom Tom started talking right after the second was made, so is there any more discussion?
You already voted?
Well, they didn't come.
No, we didn't, no one voted.
Yes, we did.
You have to call the vote because we don't know what it was.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
No.
Okay. We have been, we have a signed consent for annexation for the land south of St. John, signed by landowners requesting petition the city to annex the land, which would be the bookstore property south of St. John. Receive the consent. I've got a proposed ordinance which incorporates that. If you want to take action on it tonight, if you want to consider that for a while, then you can do that. That's fine. This is the proposed site for the biodiesel plant. If we are going to, if they are going to proceed with it, we do have an understanding with the owners that if that facility would not come to fruition, that the property would be annexed the property within a period of time. Should that not happen. So to protect them, it will also protect the city because the city will have to extend services down there until something would happen. What this does do is allow us to at least consider it and place that within our trade territory and hopefully secure electrical service for the city as an opportunity to provide them electrical service. If we don't do this, then we would probably be within the Minnesota service area, Minnesota cooperative service area, which it currently is. So we need to at least start the process to bring this within the city limits. So if you want to take action on that tonight, that's fine. You can tell what you want to think about it.
About the number?
Yes, 963.
I feel it's really important to get this going. Delaying it doesn't help it. And so I move ordinance 963.
Answer to
It's 963.
Yeah,
He said
963.
two.
Except you.
I'm looking at it. You didn't read my mind?
There are parts of this tract that are already within the city limits. This is adding additional trucks that are not within the city limits. It's a rather confusing legal description that this is the came from the stipulated title that the abstract office provided for the acreage sale.
The other agreement that we talked about, that was part of it, or that's all right?
We have that
That's
signed,
signed.
it's signed agreement too. Yeah.
All right. I second.
It's been, it'll just have to be approved in there.
Is there any more discussion, or is there discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Is there any questions for Don this evening? Is there any new business this evening? Is there any old business? Is there any- Oh, yes, sorry. Is there any old business this evening?
I move we adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
You said second.